how difficult it is to have self-knowledge. Says, see, most people don't even hear about it. They can't even come to know about it. If you think of people in America, Europe, and England, those people don't even know about self-knowledge. When Swami Vivekananda went to those countries, that's when people were first hearing, and now Swamiji's lectures, etc., are available in English. So people are knowing about self-knowledge. People had religion, people knew religion, but no one knew about self-knowledge, which we'll be discussing. That you are one with God. That knowledge. Most people don't even get a chance to hear about these things. When people hear of these things, even if they keep hearing all their life, they really cannot grasp it. This is a very serious problem with spirituality. You will see that it's so difficult to grasp spiritual wisdom. People don't read Upanishads because they can't grasp it. People don't listen to serious masters because they can't grasp it. You try reading Swami Vivekananda, you will read some pages, you might keep the complete works of Swamiji, but very few people can understand, because to understand a serious subject, you need to have a very subtle mind. So first obstacle on the path of the self-knowledge is, you don't even come to know of it. And if you come to know of it, you keep on studying it, you keep on hearing about it, where you can't grasp, even if you continue studying it for the rest of your life. So how it is attained? He says, Ashcharyo vakta kushlosya labdha Ashcharyo gyata kuslanusistaha. Only if the teacher is phenomenal and the student is a prodigy, spiritual prodigy. And when the teacher teaches, it's not only that teacher is great and the student is great, teacher has to teach him. So for example, when you look at Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda, you realize that Sri Ramakrishna was Ashcharya Vakta, the great teacher. And Kushlosya Labdva, Kushal. So there are two words. Ashcharya is phenomenal. Kushal means prodigy. You really have to have that intelligence, sharp intelligence. You have to have that competence, patrata. See, even if Sri Ramakrishna had got up on the rooftop and shouted that, okay, fine, I'll tell you all about God, how many of people would have understood? Or how many people in Sri Ramakrishna's time knew that he is God? And forget about God. Even simply that, here is a person who lives in God, who is the greatest of saints. No, people didn't realize. So why is it that people did not realize? Because people, as we proceed, we shall see, our minds are such that we can grasp only crude things. To catch small ideas, your mind has to be very fine, very subtle. To appreciate spiritual wisdom is not that easy, it says. Most people don't even hear of these things. If they hear, even then they can't appreciate it. Because three things are needed. First, a really great teacher, an extremely competent student, and the teaching. If the teacher is there and the student is there, even that doesn't suffice. The teacher has to teach. Sri Ramakrishna, he had to teach. If Sri Ramakrishna did not teach Swami Vivekananda, then that phenomenal force wouldn't have been created. As we now know, Swami Vivekananda was a competent disciple and Sri Ramakrishna was a phenomenal teacher. But if Sri Ramakrishna had not taught, then nothing would have come out of it. Phenomenal. Teacher has to be phenomenal. The persons who are of ordinary intellect, ordinary spiritual attainments, if they talk about self, people cannot understand it. Because this self and this self-knowledge, it's a very subtle thing and it cannot be realized through explanations. It cannot be realized through argument. More importantly, as we shall see, spirituality is about Atman, pure consciousness. Pure consciousness is beyond mind. An inferior thing cannot command the superior thing. An inferior officer cannot command the superior officer. Mind is extremely inferior to pure consciousness. That being so, it's beyond mind to comprehend pure consciousness. So it's just not possible. And if an ordinary person, no narena varena, if ordinary teachers go on teaching this, no, it's not possible. It's just not possible. So a person who really has this idea about oneness or non-duality, unless you have that feeling of non-duality, and unless you have realized that non-duality, till then, your conviction about the thing, whether it exists or it does not exist, that ignorance will not be dispelled. If you might remember, Nachiketa had asked, some say it exists, some say it does not exist. Unless you have a clear feeling. The fundamental things that the Upanishads say, just now we crossed, it's so difficult to come to hear about Atman, and absolutely near impossible to grasp the truth. Anyone who is in any way connected with wealth or woman, fame, is immediately ousted from this realm of self-knowledge. These are the teachers with limited intellect, with a real limited intellect. And the Yamaraj says that these people cannot teach because it is so difficult to grasp. Forget about the students, even teachers have not grasped. How can you teach? See, there are different kinds of knowledge. If somebody is teaching physics, he can teach physics whatever his personal life might be. Whether he has character or not, it doesn't matter. But in spirituality, the teacher must have that knowledge, he must have that character, and the student's character must evolve. Unless the student's character evolves, he cannot grasp self-knowledge. You can give him a graduation degree, you can give him a master degree, that's not difficult. But giving him real self-knowledge, that's not possible. If you really want to gain this knowledge, then dry intellect is not going to work. You have to have a teacher who has realized it, like Yamaraj. He can do it. And Nachiketa also told earlier that I am not going to get such a great teacher back on earth. So a person who has a theoretical idea of this, a person who tries to prove or disprove it theoretically, no, that's not possible. And he says, oh Nachiketa, you are endowed with such spiritual qualities. Now, of course I know, Yamaraj says, of course I know about this self. I am a fit teacher, no doubt. But I don't have competent disciples. No, it's so easy to get teachers. It's near impossible to get a disciple. There's a very famous saying, Guru mile hajar hajar, chela na mile ek. You can get teachers in thousands. You don't get disciples. And Yamaraj is Lord of wisdom, is Lord of souls. He has been looking for a disciple amongst all the souls, and he is not getting a disciple. And he says, oh Nachiketa, may I or may we have disciples like you. It's rare to get a good student, particularly in the field of spirituality. Yamaraj says, no, it's not. The self-knowledge has nothing to do with intellect. It doesn't have anything to do with stories. It doesn't have anything to do with spiritual entertainment. Unknown to you, when you listen to spiritual things, Either you fall in the ditch of spiritual entertainment, or you grab, or you get trapped completely in intellectualism. Neither entertainment, nor emotions, nor intellectualism can help you in real spirituality. Anyone who indulges in any kind of activity which is non-eternal, he should know that he can now never attain the eternal. If you want to attain the eternal, Atma is eternal. Knowledge of Atman is eternal. So, self-knowledge can never be attained through non-eternal. This knowledge of self is such that so difficult to grasp, so difficult to comprehend, and yet it stays within your intellect. It's not something outside. Knowledge of self is within you. And once a person can reach that knowledge, once a person really attains to that knowledge, gains that knowledge, he transcends shock and hearse. That means he never gets excited about anything, nor does he get dejected ever. So life is all about excitement and dejection. Something excites you, something dejects you. Once you gain that knowledge of self, you are beyond that. You go in a complete, steady state of existence.